I tell you what, it's absolutely freezing. Winter is coming, ladies and gentlemen. But today, we're gonna talk about two different topics. We've got the topic of Vina to cover, and we have got Tammy topic. You like that alliteration? Tammy topic, because Tammy, after yesterday's match with his national team, England, which beat Andorra, I believe it was, 5-0, Tammy actually spoke. He got interviewed after that match, so we're going to examine what he said. But before that, let's speak about Vina, because we don't have many convincing news about Vina, to be fair. Vina, let's just start off by saying that Vina is not 100% fit. And we can definitely see this. Vina is not fit because, yes, we can't compare him because at least I am not really, haven't really seen much of Vina. He was playing in a completely different part of the world and a completely different league. So, and I don't follow the Brazilian league, so I can't really compare the expectations I had when Vina became a new Roma player. But up to now, he's not been that convincing in my opinion. He's been submerged by injuries and he's not 100% fit. He got an injury the last time he was in his international duty break. And after, he's back from that injury, but you can see that he's not 100% fit. Because the only thing we can compare about Vina is the matches he played before the last international duties and the match he played, these matches after the latest international duties. And Vina's not the same, because in those first matches, Vina crossed way more. Vina defended a teeny tiny bit better, but generally he attacked way more. After that international duty in September, I think Vina hasn't got that fitness back. Vina is not 100% fit, and you can see that. But yet, he got called by his Uruguayan national team, and he played these matches. And I think it was last week, he played a match against Colombia, and Cuadrado knocked him over like the WWE to prepare themselves for the big rivalry, Juventus against Roma. But Vina will not be available on Sunday against Juventus. One, the reason could be that he's not 100% fit. But second of all, which is the main reason of why he can't and won't be available for Juventus on Sunday, is that, and this is something Mourinho complained about in many press conferences, I believe also Cuadrado won't be available for Juventus at the same time. All the players which play for Juventus and Roma in the South American, that are South American and therefore play with South American national teams will not be available for the match against Juventus, because that match is being played on Sunday night. And Vina and Cuadrado are coming back from South America Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, or Saturday night. And Mourinho will not risk Vina. Journalists are saying that Vina and Cuadrado are going to be devastated with that jet lag, and therefore will not be ready and won't be available to play the match against Juventus. We've got positives and negatives. The positive thing is that Cuadrado won't be available, and Cuadrado is a very dangerous player at Juventus. The negative is that we don't have Vina for AS Roma. That means that obviously Calafiori will play, and I don't blame Mourinho. I don't blame Calafiori. I think Calafiori has potentials. In fact, in my opinion, Calafiori is even better than Vina up to now. But at the same time, Calafiori is one of those players which really doesn't defend like Vina. He loves attacking, but just like Vina, I think Calafiori is great when it comes to speed and physique. Look at that assist he gave to Abraham against Udinese. When it comes to defensive skills, he's not that great. And that will be just the negative factor of this match. Because, to be fair, I don't blame Mourinho not starting Vina, because he will be tired and he won't be psychologically ready to play 2 hours or a tiny bit more after he landed back from South America in Rome. He won't be ready to do that, and that is why Vina will not be available on Sunday against Juventus. Calafiori will play, and I expect some defensive issues, because obviously Calafiori we can say as much positive stuff about Calafiori as we can, but at the same time, Calafiori is a very unexperienced player who comes from the academy of Roma. So playing a match against Juventus in a stadium where Roma never won. Roma have never won in the Juventus Stadium, the Allianz Stadium, whatever you want to call it. Roma have never won in that stadium. That's why this match is a negative streak, a negative past if you look at it. And starting Calafiori can have positives because he's got incredible potentials. And if he bags the assists like he did against Udinese, it can be great. But at the same time, he's unexperienced. And therefore, I expect Calafiori to have some difficulties. Because yes, Juventus didn't start the best way possible. But Juventus are bouncing back. Juventus, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, have one of the best right wingers in the world right now. And I'm talking about Federico Chiesa. Chiesa, in my opinion, is top class, and he'll be very, very dangerous and it will be a very serious problem when it comes to Roma's defenders. They've got Chiesa, they've got Bonucci and Chiellini, which in my opinion are the two most experienced centre backs of right now, right? They've got interesting players, so it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a very hard match for Roma. Plus, if you add that negative streak that Roma never won at the Juventus Stadium, the Allianz Stadium, whatever you want to call it, it's even more complicated. So starting Calafiori can be great, but at the same time, he's inexperienced and will not have that immediate impact for this match, as all of us Roma fans want. That's just something we gotta say, because this week we're back to preparing for Serie A matches. We're back with content with Alex, and there will be predicted 11s. So just, if me and Alex don't predict Vina, and I think Alex, if you're watching this, or if he will be watching this, I don't think we will predict Vina, because Vina will not be available for the match against Juventus on Sunday. So, we talked about this first mini topic, which was Vina and Calafiori combined, we can call it. Second topic I want to talk about is Tammy Boy speaking up. He said some incredible stuff about Roma and Mourinho. But first of all, before actually analysing what he actually said, let's analyse possibly one of the most important things. Way more important than speech, which is how he played against Andorra. Was it Andorra or Moldova? I think it was Andorra. Let me quickly check. Let me check if it was Andorra, because I don't want to say random stuff. I think it was Andorra, yeah. Yep, it's Andorra. Yeah, Andorra, England. Ended 5-0 to the English lads. And Tammy actually scored. He got a call back from Southgate, and he responded present. He scored against Andorra, and it's great, because many players which play at Roma in their national teams in this mid-October break had good impacts. Pellegrini scored against Spain despite the loss. Abraham scored yesterday. And, we've got in general many players who actually played. We've got Shomurodov who played with Uzbekistan. We've got Veretout who is playing tonight. Obviously, I don't think he'll start, but his national team is playing tonight in the Nations League final. He had a few minutes against Belgium. We've seen Pellegrini, and it's good to see many players which represent our club being called by their national teams. It's always a risk, because if they get injured, fuck this, but none of them get injured. But let's not speak too early, because we've got a few more matches in these next couple of days coming up. England for Tammy. And other players as well. So the positive thing is that so many players are getting their calls from the national teams, and it means that Mourinho, according to many managers out there, is giving an impact to Roma, but in general to all of these players. Because I can assure you that if Fonseca was a manager right now, Abraham wouldn't play in the same way, and therefore Gareth Southgate wouldn't have called Abraham for these World Cup qualifiers matches. So it's extremely important for Mourinho's reputation with other managers on how he's actually playing all of these players. Abraham actually bagged a goal yesterday, so happy days. As we said before, Pellegrini bagged a goal against Spain. So seeing these players score is even more convincing. But, I haven't seen the highlights of England yesterday, because I was actually busy. But what I've actually heard what Abraham said after the match against Andorra about AS Roma. And he said such convincing stuff about his club and about the manager that he's had, Mourinho, that it really puts to mind how much Mourinho and the fans boosted the faith back in this young lad. I think faith is one of the most important things in football. If no one believes in you, if no one encourages you, if no one actually says, okay, you're coming with me, you're growing, and you're becoming a baller, I think it's really, really complicated for a player to actually grow. And we've seen this extremely well with Abraham. You know, we couldn't have had a better example. Abraham at Chelsea was one of those players which lost faith. And obviously, if now that Chelsea've got Lukaku up front, they've got Werner, which I'm not sure if he's better than Tammy, but according to Thomas Tuchel, he was. And, you know, a player like Abraham at Chelsea wasn't impacting your fans. And if you don't impact the fans don't therefore give faith in you. And it's normal. I've said this before. You know, it's normal for a Chelsea player, now that they've got Lukaku, and they've got players like Lukaku, Kante, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Jorginho. They've got all of these top class players that they forget about the middle players, which in that case was Abraham at Chelsea. You know, Abraham was not a top player at Chelsea at all. He owes Chelsea a lot for believing in him, but the fans were like, okay, we've got Lukaku, I don't really care about Abraham anymore. And that is exactly what let Abraham down. Abraham wasn't convincing at all. Every time Thomas Tuchel subbed him, he gave no absolute impact to the match. Mourinho said, get me Tammy Abraham and I'll boost the faith back in him. And look at him now. He's enjoying his life at Roma. He's having such a good reputation with the Roma fans and with the manager himself. He got a call back from Gareth Southgate, and now at Roma, as well as him, Pellegrini, and a few other players, he's the center of this club. All the fans are paying attention to him. You know, all of the fans have Tammy Abraham as their god right now, as well as Mourinho, Pellegrini, and other top players. You know, if you speak about Roma, someone goes, yep, Tammy Abraham. That's what pops in his mind. And that's extremely important for a footballer to grow even more. And Tammy's a young lad. Tammy is a young player. Let's not forget that. So, I think another important thing is, if you ask a Roma fan right now who bought a new Roma shirt, a new Roma jersey, I can assure you that around 60% of Roma fans, if you ask them, who have you got behind your shirt? Who's the name? Who's the player you have behind your shirt? I assure you that at least 60% of Roma fans are going to say Abraham. And that just puts... I've got a few friends at school which have a new AS Roma jersey with Abraham behind. I was about to get my own Roma jersey with Abraham behind it. But then I thought about Spinazzola and the fact that he's the best left back in the world right now. And that is exactly why I chose him instead of Abraham. But I was really close into saying, yep, I want that number 9 behind that shirt. And then I got Spinazzola. But that just puts in mind that the faith in fans is back. And that, they want to see Abraham light up the Stadio Olimpico. They want to see Abraham go. They're gonna press Abraham. They're gonna be with Abraham in the ups and downs. Football, a footballer's career is a roller coaster. There are ups and there are downs. There are ups, psychological ups and psychological downs. There are physical ups and physical downs. There are mentally. All of these factors which you need to consider, I think, are extremely important. And the Roma fans are letting Abraham know that throughout this journey at Roma, they will be with him. They will support him, even when Roma will lose many matches. Even when Abraham will stop performing for a few matches, will stop his good form streak, the fans will be there. And that's very important because players need that sign, that signal to then process from the fans. And I think the only man we gotta thank about this is Jose for believing in him and to build this project at Roma, which started with Tammy, who Roma bought this summer. At the start, I wasn't really convinced about Tammy Abraham. I was going, okay, if Tammy isn't actually that convinced about Roma, let's not buy him. That was what I was thinking. And then obviously I saw the price and I said, wow, 40 million for Abraham, that is quite a fair amount of money. But I got that wrong. Because, yes, Tammy up to now has been great some matches and has been awful in some matches. But that's normal. Obviously, Tammy's not going to be Haaland. Obviously, Tammy is not going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. And I know that. But if the fans believe in him, if the manager has faith in him, we will see, and I can't emphasize this enough, a good, he will eventually grow and he will eventually burst. And I think he could not have chosen a better destination than Roma with such passionate fans. But let's look at closely what he actually said, because as you can read below, he said, this is direct quotes from Abraham, by the way. He said, the decision of moving to Roma was clearly the best decision out there. And this is only the start. So he knows himself that he's had the greatest decision out there, joining Roma with such passionate fans, because he knows himself that these fans are boosting Abraham back up. The faith he lost at Chelsea is now gradually being back and built into Abraham even more at AS Roma. And then he said, this is only the beginning. Now, obviously, the interview was way longer than this, but this quote is the most important quote, because with these few sentences, which is the decision of moving to Roma was clearly the best, and this is only the start, these two sentences, not many words, roughly about 20 words, we know what Abraham is thinking psychologically. We know what is going on in Abraham's mind. We know how the reputation with fans is going with Abraham. And we know about the manager and Abraham. It means so much. And this last sentence, which goes, this is only the start, means that Mourinho made it clear to Abraham that he wants Abraham to stay at Roma for quite a long while. And, the fact that Roma bought a young striker like Abraham means that they hypothetically don't need to buy a new striker for a fair amount of years. And that was the objective of Roma. So if Abraham grows even more, boom, a star will be born. And Mourinho said, we will, this is the start of my project at Roma, Mourinho is saying. But with Tammy and with all the players, with potentially Zachary in January, we will build a project. And the trophies will come. The objectives will come. And, Tammy is saying this is only the beginning, which is probably, in my opinion, if I were to guess, a direct quote we saw from Mourinho. Because I'm 100% sure Mourinho repeated this quote of, this is only the beginning, to every single player at Roma. So, I think this sentence and the fact that he's speaking so much about Roma, even when he's concentrated during the international duties, well, obviously you expect a player to concentrate for his national team, he thinks about Roma because he can't get over the passion and the support the fans are giving him. And this is exactly it. It's very, very convincing. Tino, Muki, and Dora, yep, I got it at the end. Rad Rostaminia, hi. Under the Same Sun, hello. And Tino, Muki, hello. So yeah, lads, this was a quick live stream, a very significant live stream though, because the two topics we covered were Vina not being available for the match against Juventus because he's landing in Rome. He's landing back in Rome a few hours before the match against Juventus, and Mourinho will not risk him. And the second one is analysing what it means for Abraham to be at Roma after the quotes he had and he said after yesterday's match, which he actually scored against Andorra in Andorra 5-0. Lorenzo PSA is asking 2 uploads in one day. No, mate, not 2 uploads, unfortunately. It's just 1 upload. So yeah, it's cool. It's very, very cool. But unfortunately, no double upload today. Lorenzo, Leo Lux 06 is saying why Vina is not available for Juventus. He won't be available for Juventus because, first of all, he's not 100% fit, and we can see this ourselves. And second of all, because, as I said a few seconds ago, Juventus Roma is being played on Sunday night in Italy, in Rome, Italian time. And Vina, and this is not just for Vina, Juventus TV, if there's a channel called Juventus TV, will probably speak about how Quadrado will not be available for Juventus in return. Because all the players which play for Juventus or Roma, which are South American and therefore have got calls from their national team, are going to come back to Italy a few hours before that match. And psychologically, they'll be tired. Psychologically, they'll be destroyed. And I agree with Mourinho when he's not going to risk Vina because it can lead to injuries. Plus, he's not 100% fit. But that is a good motive to see Calafiori grow more and more and more. Sorry I couldn't make your last stream. I was learning how to drive. No problem, mate. You know, they become videos. So every time you miss it, don't you worry. They become videos. And good luck on your driving, mate. Prof Cat is saying you're doing great with the updates. Keep it up. Thanks, man. It means a lot. And Lorenzo P is asking, is Zachary a center defensive midfielder? I mean, he's technically a CDM, but he can play everywhere. And if you've seen yesterday's match, he proved that to us. So lads, it was a quick live stream talking about 2 topics. If you're new, please subscribe. It means so much. My big objective is to reach 5k by the end of the season. So every subscriber counts. Get it done. Like this video as soon as it becomes, like this live stream as soon as it becomes a video. And if you have time and if you have Instagram, follow me over at the Lower Score, the Simon Show. Have a wonderful Sunday night with your families. Watching it's France against Spain tonight in Milan, I believe. So it's great. Go watch that. It'll be madness. It'll be mayhem. Hopefully Spain win, not gonna lie, because Luis Enrique is an absolute masterclass of a man. And I'll catch you tomorrow with more updates and leading onto the big rivalry on Sunday night against Juventus. Plus Alex will be back this week, so stay tuned. Right, I'll catch you in a bit. Simon out.